In 1973, His Holiness Rael received a message from extraterrestrials of such importance that it has already begun to change our world today. It has now circulated around the planet, and the books describing this extraordinary encounter have been published in over 25 languages, making bestsellers several times over. There are to date over 60,000 people preparing for the return of our parents from space. It was these extraterrestrials who created life on Earth, including humans in their image. In fact, the word Elohim really means those who come from the sky in ancient Hebrew, and not God.
On December the 13th, 1997, His Holiness Rael received yet another message from our creators, the Elohim. In this message, it was revealed that if we remove the mysticism from Buddhism, we are left with the Raelian philosophy, and that from now on many Buddhists would become Raelians. Being inspired by this new message, the Raelian movement decided to research the relationship between Buddhism and Raelianism.
In the book The Message Given by Extraterrestrials, it explains that a mark appeared on His Holiness Rael's arm on July the 31st, 1975, shortly after he witnessed a UFO in Périgord, France. This mark started as 3 small circles inside a larger one, and 15 days later turned into 2 concentric circles. In Buddhism, this mark of 3 small circles is called the 3 treasures. This mark of the 3 treasures can be found not only in Buddhist temples and artifacts, but also in many other religions from around the world.
There is another symbol that is related to Buddhism. This symbol is used to indicate Buddhist temples on almost all of the maps found throughout Asia, and it appears in the majority of Buddhist temples on the Asian continent. This symbol is the swastika.
The swastika is a symbol of Buddhism. It's also part of the Elohim symbol engraved on the side of the UFO, which His Holiness Rael saw during his first encounter with them in 1973. On the UFO, the swastika is set in the center of the symbol, which we now know as the Star of David. The swastika represents perpetual transformation of everything in the universe, and the Star of David represents infinity in space. The triangle pointing up represents the infinitely large universes which we're a part of, while the triangle pointing down refers to the infinitely small universes within the subatomic particles of our own level, including us.
The understanding of the universe as it is described in the messages given by the Elohim to His Holiness Rael is exactly the same as the Buddhist view of the universe. And this is natural because, as His Holiness explains in his books, Buddha was also a messenger of the Elohim, as was Moses, Jesus, Muhammad, and many others. We can find traces left by the Elohim all throughout Asia. Therefore, a few Raelians decided to form a team to further research the relationship between Buddhism and the Elohim's message.
The Raelian team traveled to Beijing, Dunhuang and Turapan, located at the foot of the Tian Shan Range, and to Thailand and India too. What they found were wall paintings filled with depictions of UFOs, especially on the temple walls in Turapan and Dunhuang. Here we see a statue found in Tibet. When the Raelian team arrived in Thailand, they also found some ancient Buddhist paintings full of drawings of UFOs.
The team also went to Japan. The Elohim revealed to their last prophet Rael that thousands of years ago they operated a laboratory in the Japanese island. An area near Hiroshima known as Nogakogen appears to be the most likely place where this ancient laboratory was located.
According to local history, a god from the sky lived in a temple in Nogakogen thousands of years ago. The team climbed the mountain to study this temple. What they found was a glass case located in a room made of huge stones. They were surprised to discover what the god that people had been worshipping looked like. The mark carved on the stone is very similar to the Raelian symbol.
As we can see, there are many artifacts in Asia that relate to the Raelian movement. In Buddhism, it is predicted that a new Maitreya will appear in a country ruled by the Rooster King 3,000 years after the death of Buddha. The messages transmitted to His Holiness Rael by the Elohim in 1973 announced that Rael is this new Maitreya from the West. Then, is Rael the real Maitreya from the Rooster Country, as it is predicted in Buddhism?
Buddhism started in India and spread to China via Don Juan. By the time it reached Korea and Japan, the journey was so long that it had changed considerably from its original form. This may be why the southern branch of Buddhist dating system is different from the northern branches. In 1962, Buddhists held a world convention to discuss this problem. Finally, the southern branch's dates were adopted by all, and henceforth the official Buddhist dating system became unified. For example, the Christian year 2003 corresponds to the Buddhist year 2547. However, according to the northern branch's dating system, based on King Asoka's monument, the Christian year 2003 corresponds to the Buddhist year 3030. The Maitreya is supposed to appear during the Buddhist year 3000. Now, according to the northern branch, this corresponds to the Christian year 1973, precisely the same year that His Holiness Rael received the messages from the Elohim.
Some may argue that the new Maitreya should appear in Korea because the ancient name for Korea is Shilla, or Rooster Forest, as it was named after the first king who was born there. But nowadays, nothing in Korea relates to the rooster either as a country emblem or anything else. Korea's symbol has always been the bear and has never been the rooster.
On the other hand, the rooster has been known as the symbol of France for many generations. It's the symbol of their pride. French people used to be called Gaulois, which comes from the word Gaul, which means rooster. The country of the rooster must therefore be France, and that is precisely where His Holiness Rael was born in 1946. At that time, France was ruled by a king whose name also refers to the rooster, Charles de Gaulle. The Buddhist prophecy tells us that the truth will be revealed 3,000 years after Buddha's death. And when this happens, a new Maitreya will appear in the country of the rooster in the west after 7 days. The prophecy came true when His Holiness Rael received the message from the Elohim during 6 consecutive days in the crater of a volcano, Clermont-Ferrand, central France, in 1973, year 3000 after Buddha. On the 7th day, he had been transformed into the new Maitreya, as prophesied. The last prophet of the Elohim, His Holiness Rael, is therefore the Maitreya from the West, whom all Buddhists have been waiting for.
The new Maitreya for humanity, the last prophet, His Holiness Rael, is looking for a place to build an embassy here on earth to welcome our creators, the Elohim.
Every religion predicts the coming of a last prophet to build the third temple and guide humanity into a new era of peace and happiness, be it the Maitreya, the Mahdi, the Paraclete, or the Messiah. The country that provides the land to build this embassy will become the spiritual and scientific center of the world for millennia to come. The people who recognize the Elohim as our creators and wish their return on earth will be the true pioneers of paradise, the architects of the Golden Age.